Welcome to Microsoft Ignite event, and we thank Microsoft for providing an opportunity to deliver our presentation in this event. And this session, we will discuss on how to maximize the value of Microsoft applications with the comprehensive monitoring feature of Applications Manager. So this is what we are going to discuss in the today's session. My name is Anand. I'm the product specialist for Manage Engine Applications Manager. Without much ado, we can quickly get started for the today's session. As we all know that the demand for web application is continuously growing. 500 million new applications is expected to be built in the upcoming years. As a result, the demand for web applications and the backend IT infrastructure, which is hosting the workload of this web application, is continuously increasing. So the IT departments is in high need and they have to deliver the needs and meet the end user expectations, which acts as a crucial factor for these web applications. So at this point in time, 66% of the organizations struggle with managing their spike in the business application traffic. And more than 80% of the application stakeholders admit that monitoring the application from a remote location is a challenging factor, being working from multiple locations, working from home, accessing the data center via VPN, or collaborating with team definitely acts as a challenge for these teams. And in this session, how we can efficiently overcome these challenges and ensure to provide an 100% satisfaction for the users, what we'll be focusing on today. And for that, an efficient monitoring is required. So let's start with the overview of monitoring using the Applications Manager. Applications Manager provides a deep understanding of your IT components, which includes the business infrastructure like various components of your application like IA server, network devices, web application itself, understanding the user behavior, Azure components, and Kubernetes components. So all these business infrastructure can be monitored in a single pane of glass, and we provide an intuitive dashboard, which is highly customizable, and a deep root cause analysis to identify the issues quickly and resolve the issues without impacting the happiness of the users or the performance of your web application, and threshold based alerting and a dedicated SLA management reports for the management and a mobile app for ease of use. So thus by it helps the IT admins to monitor your application in a full stack in a fast-paced environment. The mission of Manage Engine Application Manager is to empower every developer to take the advantage of the modern full stack monitoring without a dedicated platform. That is, it acts as a continuous collaborative tool and a continuous application performance load tester. Let's assume that you have deployed an application using Microsoft IaaS server. So you wanted to see how the application is performing for the users, and if there is any slow SQL statements which is affecting the performance of your application, you can easily identify. You can in fact continuously optimize the application code before pushing it to the production systems. So these kind of uh, key points has to be noted at this at any point in time of your application's monitoring. So let's start with the SQL Server monitoring. So when we talk about Microsoft SQL Server, it is one of the most popular and widely used RDBMS database out there in the industry, which is connected with wide variety of production, development, or staging applications to handle the database requirements of your applications. So in Applications Manager, we monitor the SQL Server in an agentless way, just by connecting to the database using a JDBC, and an automated DB management feature is available which helps you to understand the overall performance of your database, SQL logs monitoring, and configuration management. And you get to see the complete picture of your SQL performance stats. And most importantly, always on the cluster mode monitoring and the database mirroring in case if you're configured, and few other key SQL performance counters which will be helpful for the DBAs would be when coming to the memory utilization, buffer hit ratio, buffer manager statistics, and most importantly, if there is a performance issue due to a CPU spike in the SQL, we would like to identify which process is causing the CPU spike. So, which is why we provide an agentless Microsoft Windows Server monitoring also, which helps you to understand the host server metrics, that is the performance metrics of your host server, which contains the CPU, memory, disk access, server performance reporting, hardware metrics, and network details, disk and data stored metrics. For a cluster-based systems, we provide a complete, full-fledged detail of cluster, which includes the storage, nodes, networks, resource groups. So database health, wherein we monitor the health of your database, which includes the availability and the current state of your database, jobs and session details, and DB mirroring details as well. So when we talk about the Microsoft Hyper-V or Hyper-V cluster monitoring, hypervisor monitoring acts as a crucial role in case if your environment is heavily depending on the virtual stack, then hypervisor monitoring is quite important. We do monitor the hypervisor in an agentless way by connecting to the specific Hyper-V systems using the Windows Management Instrumentation Protocol, which is an Microsoft proprietary protocol. So using which we collect the performance statistics of your Hyper-V server, and we show the storage, virtual storage details, network details, hardware details, and the performance of your VMs, how it is performing in an overall scale. For your production grade applications, you'll be able to monitor the same. So key metrics to monitor in Hyper-V server, where hypervisor CPU usage, total CPU utilization, hypervisor CPU utilization, and the idle CPU utilization, page details. When we talk about the network details, network traffic stats between these VMs or the in and out happening via specific hypervisor or between the VMs, network packet statistics, virtual network adapter details, legacy adapter details. And most importantly, the hardware is responsible for hosting these workload. So power, fan, temperature, processor, memory, and disk. If there is, say, for example, if the temperature is high, you could get a notification or perform an automation or orchestration activities to reduce the mean time to time repair ratio before a production issue occurs. So when we talk about the monitoring, proactive approach is required rather than reactive approach. That is, a user reports to us saying that there is a problem with this hardware or there is a problem with the application. So we take time, we collectively understand the logs, find out the issue. By that time, the end user experience is already impacted. Customer delight acts as a key factor for every business to retain the customers. So understanding these technology metrics correlating with the performance of your application is more important. So the modern approach which we propose from the application manager to ensure these kind of performance problems is by using an APM Insight solution of application manager, which is nothing but an agent-based monitoring aspects, wherein this agent has to be deployed in your application server or in your web server where your IaaS server is deployed. This agent hooks up with the worker process of your application and collects the collective information. It uses a method called bytecode instrumentation through which it get all the necessary vital performance statistics of your application and report it to you in an end-to-end way, which helps you to optimize your application. There are four key metrics like AppDex, average response time, a throughput of your application, error count. AppDex can be used as a single point of SLA for your overall application performance, which contains three different components: satisfied users count, tolerating, and frustrated. You get to see the insight to the problematic code. Whenever there is an performance issue with the hardware, like CPU utilization is going high because of the application, the teams usually increase the cores of CPU, or they increase or allocate more memory to the systems. Instead of allocating more CPU or memory, if one finds which component has caused CPU spike or memory leaks, we can ensure to fix the issues permanently so that it helps the your users who's accessing your application a lot. And moreover, it helps you in spending your money wisely and helps you to cut the unwanted expenses spent with the hardware. Now we turn off developers to perform rapid iteration and ensure stable application performance. So when we talk about the performance monitoring of your application itself is not a single component. It is tied up with your database server. Your workload is hosted with Hyper-V, which we have discussed. So considering this factor, the end user is the one who will be actually accessing your application from a different locations outside your corporate data center, outside your network or firewall, from their browser. So understanding the usage patterns of your application or your real user matters a lot to provide a delightful user experience. Considering that specific factor, real user monitoring feature captures and analyzes each transaction of users from a website or an application. It also helps in assessing the speed of the website, identifying the or tracking the specific calls. It helps you to resolve the Ajax errors, JavaScript errors. It helps the front-end developers a lot, wherein you could get the actual session details where the user is spending, can actually find the time taken for an individual URL in a particular session. So this much level of understanding is required to get the network level performance of your application, because application acts in two different layers: network layer and an application layer. So if that's a performance with the network performance issue with your network layer because of ISPs, so the teams don't have to worry about it, the backend teams, because it's an ISP level issue. So these kind of issues can be easily identified by using the real user monitoring aspects. So now coming back to the synthetic transactions monitoring, this is one of the feature of application manager, which helps you to record and replay critical transactions of your application. So what do we mean by record or replay? Let's assume that a user journey starts right from the moment they log into your application, and then they provide the statistics of your application. They check for the transactions like checking a balance, or and then they log out. So this acts as a key transaction which is performed by majority of your users. So considering this factor, you could record this using our transaction recorder, helping you to eliminate the manual Python scripting. So this tool actually records the keyboard and mouse level interactions which you're performing, and replace the same to check if the same functionality is available from multiple locations. So this agent performs the same set of transactions in different location and reports the data to the applications manager console. So that you can find the transaction time, response time of each and individual steps, page load time, and the collective information of all this from a different locations, and a branch wise reporting, location wise reporting geographically is also available. So now coming back to the Azure monitoring feature of Applications Manager. So Application Manager offers a wide variety of cloud monitoring for all their applications hosted on premise and on cloud. So specifically focusing on Azure, we monitor virtual machines, Azure SQL database, Azure Service Bus, and storage accounts. How we collect the data from the Azure? Being an agentless monitoring solution, we hit the Azure SDK, collect the performance data of your virtual machines or Azure Service Bus or Azure SQL database, and we show all the performance metrics of all your VMs or database in a single pane of glass. It is the single dashboard. If there is any performance issue with your application, CPU, memory, disk, or any other components, performance component like processes or services down, get a proactive alerts, perform an automation or trigger these alerts to to perform automation like SQL job-based automations or send it to Slack or webhook-based automation. There are a wide variety of automations available with us. So Microsoft 365 is an online business subscription offered by Microsoft. We support monitoring of Exchange Server, SharePoint, and Teams, the Microsoft 365 platform. It helps you to get the key information of these platforms without deploying any agents. And let's see on how it complements your applications. So to start off with the Microsoft Teams monitoring, Microsoft Teams is a robust online collaborative platform to connect with your colleagues, family, business, and it helps you to organize meetings and so helps you for file transfer and for storage attachments and manage contacts. It acts as a single platform for connecting with your families. So considering this uh, functionality of the Microsoft Teams, it is crucial to monitor the usage statistics of the Microsoft Teams, whoever is using it, whether it is for business purpose. It is understand it is a key aspect to monitor the usage statistics. That is how many calls or meetings per user is posting, or activity count based on Microsoft, and the endpoints connectivity health, and the files transfer details. All these metrics will be monitored in the applications manager, which helps you to ensure that the Microsoft Teams has been used wisely by all the peoples for better business productivity and collaborative. So Microsoft SharePoint Online is an application hosting services offered by Microsoft, which helps you to, wherein App Manager helps you to monitor the application statistics, health services of your endpoint connectivity. If there is any affected tenants or users, that will be listed to you. Storage used by sites and site performance statistics are, and most importantly, all the applications which are hosted on SharePoint will be discovered automatically, and we show you the application status, health status of all these applications in a very collective information, the storage consumed by each and individual sites. And Microsoft Exchange Online is a mail services offered by Microsoft Online, wherein we help you to monitor the top mailboxes based on its size, inactive mailbox users, and the lost login time of those users will be collectively shown right here in the Application Manager web console. So let's take a customer success story of our user. So NECA is an National Exchange Carriers Association. It's a organization, it's a telecommunication organization based out of United States, and their hunt for monitoring solution has started uh, a bit early, wherein they have to identify the manual tracking of the websites, and they wanted to eliminate all this manual tracking of the websites and want to focus on automated dedicated single tool which helps them to monitor their app websites and the web server application servers their all and all wide variety of SSL certificates. So they have started evaluating applications manager, and after a continuous evaluation, they found that this tool has met their requirements. And the key points that they were satisfied with the performances, it helps them to track the health and availability continuously as the tool monitors agentless way, which attracts them a lot, wherein They don't have to deploy any agent to monitor the websites. That's why a dedicated training is not required. It is plug and play monitoring. They don't have to switch to multiple tools, as this tool helps them to monitor their Microsoft 365 applications also. And it also helps them to manage and renew SSL certificates, as the tool helps them to notify about their SSL certificate expiration. They were able to renew the SSL certificates from the concerned certificate authorities before a security vulnerability breach has occurred. And by this way, they were very much happy with the performance of application and with the features and the stability. And finally, they purchased the solution and they're one of the happy customer of Applications Manager. And there are a lot of other users who had benefited with the product Applications Manager, which is value for money, which the team says investment. And most importantly, it's a win and win situation for both customers and being a vendors. The moment they expand their technology offerings, the risk also occurs. So that's where Application Manager helps them to understand or pinpoint the performance issues which is occurring in a specific component, helps them to resolve, even though if their business grows. So their business grows, and Application Manager is really happy with the NECA. Key takeaways for all the attendees of this Ignite event. That is, Manage Engine Application Manager acts as a robust monitoring for all your Microsoft application. This acts as an one-stop solution for all your monitoring needs. You can optimize the performance of full stack IT systems end to end, leverage machine learning for historical trends reporting, and tool offers AI-based alerting functionalities. So helps you to eliminate or reduce the noise in terms of alerts and remove the false positive alarms with your applications. I thank all the participants, attendees for attending this Ignite event. And once again, thank Microsoft for giving us an opportunity to present our solution in this digital event. Uh, for further communications with us, please feel free to drop an email to eval-apm@manageengine.com. So our expert solution panelist will get back to you with an customized offerings. And you could access demo.appmanager.com for our solutions functionality. Thank you.